Here we are in the last video on the Google Forms for our Psych 42 survey. So you can see that we have completed filling out the survey. I added in the depression questions, and I also just added a quick debriefing statement. So this debrief is just our last section, and it says, thank you for participating in our class survey. We'll be using this data to ask and answer various questions, etc. So you would want to, in a more formal study where you're only collecting data that you specifically would analyze, we have a lot of students, so it's going to be a lot of different questions. You would want to include like what your hypothesis was and more detailed information on the study. So here we're just going to say that we're using this information in various ways. And I also always like to include, if we're asking questions about mental health, include a resource. So we did in the informed consent make a statement that we will be asking questions about mental health. So if you're uncomfortable with that, of course, skip the survey. But in the event that, people take this survey and maybe they're not getting help and they need some mental health support, we should provide that resource. So I included the phone number here. So I am going to go back through the survey and just check my survey flow before I preview it, but I want to do one other thing first. So I'm going to go to responses. Oops, not just kidding. Go to settings. And what I would like to do is I want to change my confirmation message. So I'm going to say your response has been, I'll just say thank you for participating. Your response has been collected. If you are not at least 18 years old and a Fresno State full-time student, you were sent to the end of the survey as you don't meet the survey criteria. So that way it'll pop up. They're not like, hey, why did I get kicked out of the survey? So that'll be there. So just as a reminder, we selected the progress bar. I'm not going to shuffle question order, but I just wanted to check and put that there. So that's going to be our confirmation message. So I'm going to save that. I can always go back and edit it. So back to our questions. I just want to check that everything's set up. So first of all, look here, it's required. That's good. Continue to next section for if they agree. And if they don't agree, they get submit form. So that's perfect. They'll get that confirmation message. And then for age, we should get the same thing. So age, submit form if they're under 18, perfect. If they are a Fresno State student, then they get sent to submit form, perfect. For gender, we want to make sure this is set up correctly. So if they selected other, we want them to go to gender other, good. And if not, we're going to have them skip to section 6, which is our demographics. This one shouldn't have anything set up because we can't set anything up. Just set for short answer. And then here we have demographics. So we have our grade point average. And notice when we click on it, we can see that we have the numbers set up here. And same here, we have our data validation there. We have our financial situation. And I'm going to go ahead and change it to multiple choice. Might as well be consistent. Just a note, this survey doesn't have any of the checkbox options, but checkboxes are used for when you want them to be able to select more than one option, but we want them to just have one. So these are mutually exclusive categories. Section 7, we have stress. We should have 4 questions here. So you can see that they're set up as multiple choice. And if you click on them, it should not be required, which it's not. We don't have any data validations. That's good. And so that is correct here. 2, 3, 4. That's the end of our section. You can see it's going to continue to the next section. Then we have depression. We show 10 questions. And I have a little introduction that was from the scale here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Continue to next section. And then we have the thank you and debrief. So this looks like we are all good to go. So then your last step, or almost last step, is that you want to preview. And when you click on preview, it gives you, shockingly enough, a preview. So this is what it's going to look like. And you can see that it's not going to share my email address with the survey. Shows the informed consent information. And there's our little submit bar, our progress bar, which is nice. So we can say, I agree to participate. Next. Like, oh, perfect. It took us to age. I'm under 18. Next. Oh no, it kicked me out. Well, that's what we want. So they can go back. They can always change it if it kicks them out. But this is just something that you can go through and check and make sure that it's set up correctly. So once you're done with your preview survey, you can just close out of it. And then again, you're going to go to the send. And you can email it to people. But I most often go to the link and I'll shorten the URL and copy that. So in class, you're going to get a handout for this with a QR code and this link to collect some data. So you can copy it, you can do different things with it, but we want to make sure that we share the survey so that we get some responses. So the next videos on the Psych 42 survey, we're going to talk about using this response option and linking it to sheets. So that will be the next series of videos.